How fun to be with you today. I want to tell you just kind of a couple of real quick intimate things about Bill White that I think are so important and why I think he's the man. First of all, he was raised in San Antonio, and his folks were school teachers. My wife and I are school teachers. I think they're the greatest people in Texas. We undervalue them. And with that kind of background, he's down on the ground. He's one of us. He thinks like we do. Another thing about Bill, while he's mayor, while he's been undersecretary of energy, while he's done so many things, running a huge business, he's always taken the time out to teach a Sunday school class. Bill, I know that takes a lot of time. I teach them too. That's about 20 hours a week in your business. I appreciate you for that. And I'm going to look you in the face and tell you how I appreciate that. Y'all remember when Rita hit, and I don't confuse Rita with Ike and everything, but we were in trouble, and we needed Generation Hartley. And I remember I had to get DPS troopers just to even get me down to Woodville because the highways were blocked. And I got a call on the cell. Mayor Bill White. What do you need, Jim? I need Generation. 4 hours later, guess what? The 18-wheelers roll in. That's Texans helping Texans at the best. Bill, I'll always appreciate you for that. Yes. And finally, I'm going to tell you just something that's important to me that you know about Bill White. A session or two ago, I was on the Appropriation Committee, and White staff called my staff and said, is it possible that y'all could go to supper tonight? And I said, I don't know. Appropriations normally lasts a long time, but it's kind of early in session. Somehow we got out about 7 o'clock. And we went and had a meal together. And in the course of the conversation, I just asked a straight-up question. I said, Bill, of all the accomplishments that you've made in Houston, what's really one of the things that you remember as an old man sitting on the front porch? And that's a hard question to ask me. He immediately answered, Jim, let me tell you what may be the most important. And it's really something my wife and I are doing. Tonight, and I think it was a Thursday night, we have 800 families mentoring children who need help in Houston. I went to bed that night, guys, saying, wouldn't it be great to have a governor who says, I've got 2 million Texans helping those children pass the bar. Y'all help me welcome Bill White, the next governor of the state of Texas. Bill, we're so proud of you. Come on.
Thank y'all for being here. Thanks for responding to Joe Ned and for that great introduction. He stole my best line, so I'll get a little shorter in this speech. And then thanks for my friend Jim McReynolds. We were together the first time he ran, and I started interviewing Jim, just like y'all are interviewing me today, to figure out whether I could get him some help. And I asked you, are you willing to go door to door, knocking on doors every single day between now and the election? And he said he was. And I could tell that was important to me, because don't we need more public leaders who are public servants who don't think they're better than anybody else? Isn't that what we need? We need a governor in this state who can remind everybody in the state that from time to time, there may be people who have more important job responsibilities, but there's no such thing in our state as a person who's more important than anybody else. Isn't that right? And if we want, and if I commit to you that if you help me serve you, that I'll do 3 things. And first, I commit to you that I will run state government and work hard every day to run it like a well-run customer service business, where we don't waste money, we don't give taxpayer gifts to political friends, where we try to provide good service for the people, where we honor the employees, because we recognize that any organization is only as good as the employees in that organization, and that we run it efficiently so that we can hold the line on taxes while providing more services. Don't we need that in state government? Just while we did it in Houston, I used some business experience to squeeze the value out of taxpayer dollars, and we improved services. I don't know who here, why can't I get a show of hands? There's people here that have been active in local affairs from time to time in local politics, but I was standing shaking hands at the line there. Could the people who are from Houston, who I worked for at any time, who lived in the city of Houston while I was mayor, or right outside, I'd say, who I served, would you hold your hands up? Okay? Well, I want to tell you, in my faith, we say we witness. Please talk to the people I work for. And I'm a workhorse and not a show horse, and we need more of that in government right now. And I will tell you that I will pay good attention to squeezing the value out of that tax dollar. That's my first commitment. Commitment number 2. We will prepare the young people of this state, as well as the adults, to compete for good jobs, jobs with a real future, not just the unemployment line or minimum wage jobs. Don't we need that in Texas right now? That is critically important. That means we'll never be as great as we could be in this state, so long as we're 49th out of 50 states, and the percentage of our adults that have a high school diploma. My relatives, a lot of them didn't have high school diplomas. There's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with the person. But it should be a system. It should be a system that treats dropping out of school as an emergency. If you go to see a basketball game or a football game, y'all been at a high school football game where somebody does something terrible with their knee and they're out and they're laid out, everybody rises, you say a prayer, you look at the family, and you hope that young person is doing well. And then if they can limp off or they're taken off in a stretcher, everybody rises and applauses, and they take them to get an MRI, and you have a unit roll up so they can be taken to the hospital, get x-ray, MRI, and if there's something, they'll have surgery. Well, I want to tell you, we treat it as an emergency, and that's fit and appropriate, but you can fix a knee a whole lot better than you can fix a kid that doesn't have the education. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And we need leadership who speaks plainly and says that. And that doesn't just affect that family, it affects everybody. Because if somebody doesn't have the training and the skills, then they don't make as much money, they don't spend as much money, they don't invest as much money, and that hurts everyone. And it's not just getting a 4-year degree or master's or all this. We got to start training Texans rather than just importing nurses from abroad.